God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Yes, Supervisor Crowner,
Here.
Trustee James Hickey,
Here.
Trustee Kelly Hickey.
Here.
Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Ruckus. Absent. Assessor Katzberg.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Weiser.
Here.
Tax Collector David Scrivenon.
Here.
And Clerk Liskey here.
Moving on to public comment. Any public comment? Yes.
I'll make it brief.
Okay, no problem.
Hello, everyone. My name is Laura Hoffman, 3820 Hoopley Court in Naperville. As several of you know, I'm Jim Hoffman's wife and a longtime Wheatland Township cemetery volunteer. I'm here tonight to give an update on Jim per his request. As most of you know, on February 17th, Jim suffered a significant stroke at our home. He is currently in rehab at Marion Joy Hospital in Wheaton and with a subsequent rehab stay scheduled to begin next week, most likely at St. Patrick's residence in Naperville. He is currently without use of his right arm and right leg and adapting as best he can. It is estimated his rehab will take months or longer. Jim is also adjusting to a new financial reality. He has been employed here for 4+ years and involved with the township for many more. Disability income is necessary. As you may know, Jim is among the lowest paid in the township. $20 per hour is barely above fast food wages. Michael, I want to thank you for your prompt reply and to our inquiry regarding disability and IMRF. Jim and I will need guidance and help through this process, which is new to us. We also await a response on his 2024 mileage reimbursement. For the last few months, Jim has been treated poorly at Wheatland Township for reasons I won't get into. But now is the time for Jim to get back on his feet, which includes disability income. Wheatland Township has sought to make the township more well-known. The best way to do that is to treat employees with respect, proper empathy, and timeliness. They are the face of the township. Thank you, Michael, for carrying out these values. And that's all I wanted to say for Jim. My contact info is on the sign-in sheet. So thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. We go home and eat, I'm sorry. All right, thank you. Take care.
Good luck to Jim.
Thank you very much.
Alright, first item on the agenda, can I please get a motion to approve our February 8th, 2024 regular meeting minutes?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Kelly, second by Terry. Any comments on the minutes? Hearing none, please go with the roll call.
Supervisor Crowner,
Yes.
Trustee J Hickey,
Yes.
Trustee K Hickey.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
And Trustee Ruckus is absent, so the minutes pass 4-0.
Next item on the agenda, approval of January's executive session minutes, which I am going to pass out now. I will need to collect these back after,
Oh, okay. Am I passing them on?
no, it's okay. Only those who are in attendance. Yeah. If you all could just take a moment to review those, see if there's any comments or suggested revisions before we move on to a roll call. No comments? Oh, once I grab her back. All right, so move on to roll
Moving to
call,
roll
please.
call. Okay, great. Supervisor Crowner,
Yes.
trustee Jay Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Kay Hickey. Yes. Trustee Jones.
Yes.
And trustee Rackus is absent, so they passed, what are these, executive session minutes from January 11th, passed 4-0.
Yes, if y'all can pass those back in, we can't, we're not allowed to have these floating.
Best. Okay.
Then I apologize, I thought we had the right ones printed up for today for the December 14th, we're gonna have to table that one more month. The one that was in the email was the wrong one, so that was my fault.
Okay, so tabling.
Yeah, so I'm gonna move to table the item 5.3, the December 14th correction. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Do a roll call, please.
Okay, supervisor Crowner,
Yes.
trustee Jay Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Kay Hickey.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes. Do you have the right one? I have to check my email. I thought that was the right one.
Okay, so the vote to table the approval of updated December 14, 2023 minutes passed 4-0.
Next item on the agenda, discussion of updates to the Wheatland Township Employee Handbook. Tom and I discussed briefly that we're likely gonna move in the direction of similar policy that other townships have in separating out the two employee handbooks, since they are very different operations for the road district versus kind of more administrative folks.
So it would be road and town separate, or road and assessor?
Road and the township will be two separate ones.
Yeah. Thanks.
So this is just more of an update for you all, let you know that that's the direction that we're moving in, and then once we have kind of the structure in place for that, we'll be presenting those updates for the board to ultimately approve, with some consideration as well for the questions that came up last month with regards to hours and stuff like that. All right. Anything else from you on that piece? No, Tom, Mary, anything else that you wanted to bring
No,
up?
just, you think like at the next meeting, I'm just trying to get timing straight. in my head.
Yeah, well, that's the goal,
So
is
that's-
get it
Yeah,
into the next
oh,
meeting.
okay.
Next item on the agenda, under new business, special meeting request. At the request actually of trustee Rockus, I'm actually gonna have this item tabled. So I'm gonna move to table, item 7.1, special meeting request. Can I get a second? Second. All right, can we do a roll call on that, please?
Okay, supervisor Crowner,
Yes.
trustee Jay Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Kay Hickey.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
All right, motion to table the special meeting discussion passes 4-0.
Next item on the agenda, item 7.2, approval of ordinance number 24-01-0, transfer of appropriation. Can I get a motion to approve, please? Motion.
Second.
Mary Kelly, thank you.
Okay, so what you guys have before you, ordinance 24-01-0. Essentially, when you're, when you go over on a few line items, we have the ability, without doing any sort of special meeting or hanging budgets or anything, to move up to 10% of our budget around to cover items where we may be over by pulling from items where we're under. So I did exactly that, just making sure that we have enough in each line item to cover the remainder of the year for the town fund on a few items where we are going a little bit over. That's really it. The one that I think, there are two items that we were kind of went the furthest over. One was on the software package for accounting. We changed the kind of software we're getting, and it was an annualized fee. So it's really gonna be covering the 2025 fiscal year for all of that. And because we went to an annual, we were able to save significant funds over the course of the year. I think something like $700 or so, maybe $800. So that's why we opted to do that upfront now.
Prepaid.
Yeah, essentially we were prepaying. So that was at the request of our accountant, so we're taking care of that. And then also adding in some additional funding for training and educational classes, some classes that I want myself and Mr. Green here to work on from a financial standpoint or finance, courses. And then the other big item, was the telecommunications. We went over that budget this year because, as you all know, we made the switch to Vonage. And when we made that switch, even though it's gonna be a long-term savings upfront, there was a cost to the equipment that we needed for the office. So the overage there is being covered, that's what's being covered there. Everything else was relatively kind of minor, adjustments.
Was the reason for change on the software? Did they say, give a reason?
Here, actually have the explanation from Mr. Goldberg.
And is the software this Apex, is that what that is?
No, this is, one of our QuickBooks accounts. Let's see.
Apex is the sketching program and the assessors.
Where are we, QuickBooks Enterprise, he said, hey, Michael, our QuickBooks 2019 desktop software was expiring, so I went ahead and purchased QuickBooks 2024. The total purchase was $22.10. We also received a $5.21 rebate for the old subscription, but it's not yet reflected in our board reports. But it should be on the next one. So what it says is that it's gonna bring our total expenditures for the year to $37.77 versus our $2,000 budget. And then that's where he said, he goes, we are over budget because the software just purchased is gonna be an annual subscription. So we're essentially prepaying for most of 2025. And with that annual subscription, we're gonna save approximately $800 a year versus the previous software, because the new one will, with the prepayment and with the new software, we will no longer have to pay a monthly fee for our payroll. So we're basically just paying next year's expenses.
So is it just an upgrade, an updated version of QuickBooks?
An upgrade, and we're going to, it looks like an annualized,
But it's the same, so it's QuickBooks still, right?
Correct.
Okay.
just an updated version. Any further questions about the appropriations?
Just one question.
Yes.
Is a third party allowed to commit funds on our behalf without authorization? We said we went ahead and purchased.
So there, in our kind of ordinances we've passed we've done in the past, if it's for continued operations to allow like no stop in service for things, then yes, we're allowed to, those funds are allowed to be expended. And it's with, and he's in constant communication as well with our staff, so he's not working independently out there.
Vote.
Hearing no further comments, roll call please.
Supervisor Crowner.
Yes.
Trustee Hickey. Jay Hickey.
Yes.
Trustee Kay Hickey.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Great, ordinance 24-001-0 passed 4-0 with one absent.
Moving on to item 7.3, approval of ordinance number 24-02-0 town fund budget. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Alright, you all have this in front of you. I'm just gonna highlight a couple things with, Jim, I know you had brought up the question before about the actual section. We can update that ahead of the final approval. This is just essentially the placeholder on there for now for what we have so far, as provided by our accountant. Basically with the budgets, once we do kind of that initial hanging, the initial approval by the board, we can put up a budget and we can still make amendments downward if we need to. We just can't make anything upward as far as our projected spend, proposed spend, and then the actual pieces, because that doesn't affect the coming year's budget. We can make those adjustments as needed as well. A few highlights. I'll just go primarily to the actual expenditures for the town fund itself. Not too much change. You'll see the overall budget request going up only about $5,000 from last year. A few items that have been edited upwards, just for your references. Accounting and audit services, I'd say every year we're going up a couple grand, so this is just again, taking into account that that will likely be going forward. Building maintenance went down. Let's see, which are telecommunications, again, even though the actual spend went up, to 14,000, I'm only budgeting 12,500 because it shouldn't be as expensive next year as it was this year. Postage and printing, that one went up because we're gonna go, and I think in the past years, we've kind of put this under newsletter, the budget, but it really should be under postage and printing, so that's one of the reasons it's gonna look a little bit different right there. So the postage and printing is going up because we're also gonna be moving to two newsletters printed a year as opposed to one. Let me see which other ones I wanted to highlight. Pace, just as you all know, with those renegotiations that we had a couple years ago, the pricing has continued to go down for us. So I'm revising that budget allocation from 35,000 to 25,000. Computer software and maintenance going up a little bit. One of the reasons is, the supervisor, myself, they don't actually have any dedicated equipment, and I wanna make sure that I have something dedicated for actually saving all the files and using for Township business, opposed to using kind of personal items. I gave up my laptop a couple years ago to save some funds for us as an office. And then those are really the real big changes outside, I'm sorry, and then the mental health services pilot that I'd like us to take on as a township that the other townships are doing. And if we don't expend that, or if we don't find that that need exists over the next year, then we can remove that from subsequent budgets.
That line item with the cost, mental health services.
15,000.
Thank you.
And from some of the other pilots who I've spoken to, they didn't expend that much. Theirs was probably closer to 10 in some of the other communities, but I'd rather kind of over allocate just a little bit in case there is more need than we suspect, as opposed to under and having to figure out where those funds are gonna come from, or reallocating the budget later. So, yeah, so the overall town expenses, up from 706 to 711 proposed budget. The biggest difference really comes in here is on the assessor side. So the assessor request has gone up from 405, I have it here as 429. This includes raises for the current staff. And the other ones I know, where was it on here? Oh, subcontractor fees, I know you said some of the fees are going up
Yeah,
for Jerry's.
Yeah, he went from 1,000 to 1,150 a month.
Yeah. And then some of the software, I think you had also mentioned one of the softwares having to get renewed, I think on the commercial side or something like that.
Yeah, the Marshall
Yep.
Swift is in there.
And then the office equipment purchase is to help cover our new assessors, to get her equipped with updated equipment. She was previously part-time, so didn't really need, when she was a part-time employee, didn't need the same softwares and systems that she will need as a full-time assessor. And then just making sure that that office is equipped with what she needs. And then I think some of her staff also needs a few pieces of
Yeah,
equipment
we have
updated.
to replace every couple of years. It's like like a cycle because
Yeah.
they're just worn out. And then I'm without a laptop. Chuck bought a laptop. So
Yeah, so,
and I would like to get a scanner.
Yep.
Gary came down substantially, I think, on the cost.
good. So that's where, and then as far as the payroll for the staff, and that helps not gonna get them all the way there, but getting them closer to what the market rate is for their experience and certifications in the area. Park fund, as you all know, we no longer have a park, so no budget there. Actually, for the general assistance, I am gonna propose actually updating this further upwards. So I am gonna move that we increase the proposed budget for emergency assistance relief from 4,000 as presented to you all from $4,000 to $8,000. Can I get a second on that, please?
Second.
Second, can you roll call on that amendment for that line item?
Okay, so you motioned?
Yes, Terry
You
seconded.
seconded.
And
Okay,
then-
so,
Sorry, and then just to explain why, our emergency assistance relief went up a lot this year. That's been our biggest request. So just making sure again that we have the funds in there to expend if those requests do come in. As you can see, we came pretty close to hitting our overall budget for of $4,000 from last year's budget. And what I did notice is that in the back half of the year, there were substantially more requests than in the front half of the fiscal year. So I do anticipate if that trend continues for us to definitely go past that 4,000 number. So any further questions before we move on to roll call for that line item?
Supervisor Crowner.
Yes.
Trustee Jay Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Kay Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Jones.
Yes.
Okay, great, so the,
That line item
yeah,
update.
amendment line item increase passed
Thank you.
4-0.
And then, I know we discussed the cemetery fund request last month. Did you get a copy of this?
I did not, but I didn't make any changes,
Okay.
although honestly, I highly doubt we're gonna do anything with the roads this year, given that Jim is out.
Okay,
So we'll probably just, we'll see what happens, but that's probably gonna be on hold. It'll be
understood.
a problem for the next person, probably.
Okay. Alright, any questions on the cemetery side?
There is a card key out with Jim. That's the assessors, so I think that should come back.
Okay, we'll talk about that in the reports later. Okay. Nothing further, any further questions then for, Mr. DSY on the cemetery side?
No, okay. That's material broken out, we're just going through all of this, right?
Oh, I'm just going through the line items.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so, as you can see then with the budget here, that number at the bottom will go from 5,000 to, well, I'll make the updates on the sums as well on the bottom, but, overall, the budget request is going up, approximately $100,000, but you know, this is to make sure we have the funds available to expend if needed. As you all know, in recent years, we don't historically hit our top line. Any questions before we move on to a roll call?
Have we looked at, new software providers,
For,
like for example, assessor?
yes, she and I have been talking about, just making sure that we're checking in for the software options, and we're kind of evaluating all of our third-party fees to make sure that we're getting kind of best price for the services that we're getting.
Is there any explanation of why it went up, I don't know, $1,000 or whatever it was?
I went up 150 a month,
150 for Jim,
1,000 to 1,150.
yes.
That's his standard fee.
So it went up $150 a month,
For him
right?
to a lot, you know, we get a lot of requests for him, there's a lot of changes that he makes. And I'm quite sure that if he did that piece by piece, it would be a lot more expensive. That's my humble opinion. There's a lot.
He's also
more
really
parts.
responsive.
Pardon?
I said he's very responsive.
Yeah, sometimes you push it a little.
Okay, hearing no comment, please move on to roll call.
Okay, Supervisor Crowner,
Yes.
trustee Jay Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Kay Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Jones.
Yes.
All right, town budget passes 4-0 with one absent.
Alright, at the request of Highway Commissioner Weiser, I'm gonna motion to table item 7.4, which is ordinance 24-03-0, road district budget. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
And we are tabling, voting to table 7.4, ordinance 24-03- Supervisor Crowner,
Yes.
trustee Hickey. I'm sorry, trustee J Hickey,
Yes.
trustee K Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Jones.
Yes.
And trustee Rackets is absent, so the tabling passes 4-0. And are we tabling this to next month?
Yeah. Or April.
April.
Next item on the agenda is approval of the annual town fund meeting agenda. Can I get a motion to approve, please?
I'll make that motion.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
All right,
Thank you.
you all should have received this earlier today from Carolyn via email. The boilerplate, same agenda we approve every year, just with updated dates. That's really all there is to it, unless there was any additional items that the board would like to see added to the agenda. No, all right. Hearing none, roll call please.
Supervisor Crowner,
Yes.
trustee Hickey, J Hickey,
Yes.
trustee K Hickey,
Yes.
K Hickey, trustee Jones.
Yes.
And trustee Rackets is absent, so the annual town fund meeting agenda passes 4-0 with one absent.
Thank you. Next item, can I get a motion to approve town and road district fund bills and claims?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All right, you all have those bills. Feel free to review for a moment. Let me know if you have any questions on those bills. Okay,
What's the deal with the Sandy deal?
Let's say,
I'm sorry, Terry, what'd you say?
I was asking about
What's
the
going on with
Xfinity
the
bill.
Xfinity bill?
Pull it up over at-
Always Comcast.
Yeah, I can't stand it. I'm sure many people can.
So what question do you have specifically on the bill? Because we still have them for internet and for cable.
Okay.
Like very limited cable.
It's paid on time, right?
Yeah, everything's getting paid. We shouldn't have late fees. I'll make sure, let's see here.
I didn't
So,
see anything that said late fees, but it seemed like, I don't know, it was higher than normal.
It's just,
Trying to,
the actual monthly,
1769?
so that was probably before they received one of the previous payments as well. Because that's not the actual, because it shows like a past due balance.
It's almost like 373, right?
Oh
no,
let's see which one.
yes, I don't know, it says settlement payment for 378, regular monthly charges are 700.
So we have two bills from them for a total, or actually, that's just because it's split, so our monthly bills are approximately 700. So if you look at new charges on the actual bill, it shows it as 70701.
And when will we cut off, from the phone? Because we sent them a payment of
End of
380, which doesn't make sense if our normal bill is 700.
December.
For $700.
Well, this was also, so if you also see here, the billing date on here is February 4th. And then the last time we would have like expended everything would have been mid-February after like approving bills and everything. So. But the charges on a monthly are still 700 right now.
It still doesn't explain why we're making a payment of 380. The normal bill is.
Where do you see a
700.
payment of 380?
It's
On the bill,
line 2, previous balance 1439, payment 377.38.
Isn't it split between?
yeah, so if you look in the
So we're making
board
two
package,
separate payments, one from the township and one from the road.
yeah, it comes
Not just
through,
one payment that's.
yeah, it comes through that way, it's two separate ones.
But
it's split, so there's-
I haven't noticed it before, I don't know.
Yeah, so if you'll see the exact same amount on both the road district side and the township side. For Comcast. And then Carolyn can get you the full bill with all the
Yeah, like-
line items broken down as well.
Sure.
Any additional questions on the bills? Tom? Alright. Roll call please.
Supervisor Crowner,
Yes.
trustee Jay Hickey,
Yes.
trustee Kay Hickey.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
All right, bills and claims for, it was the month of March passed, 4-0 with one absent.
Moving on to reports, Mr. Bill Greener.
Sorry, I didn't actually put one together, but my normal thing, but we did, Carolyn and I were at our IATA meeting yesterday, and it was Hanover Township, which is kind of like the castle of everything. They have a big, huge senior center and a new emergency response building and all sorts of stuff, so it's always kind of cool to see how the King of the Hill works. But they, a lot of conversations in our meeting, just kind of between each other. There kind of helps understand that we're doing something right, we're doing something wrong. It's a good way to trade stories and understand. They're talking about the First Amendment auditors, they're coming out still, or they're in, how Hanover Township handled it. And they had the same guy that actually called here, was there in person, and Hanover knocked it out of the park. So it is working, our group getting together and talking about how to handle these, and it is getting better. I did attend a video conference with Wintrust, and as far as theft in the workplace, finances, not really. It's always good to watch in case you pick something up. There really wasn't anything overall that was glaringly new or anything, and I didn't obviously see anything that was going on here, but it's always good to watch those kind of things. Our phones that we now have, I was talking to Mike Ergoni, and I was also talking to our ICRMT, which is our risk management company. And we've been trying to work our way together to having better security here with like security buttons and things like that. And I was then informed that he can actually put a 911 immediate security button on our current phones at no cost. So that wouldn't have anything, it would just be on the screen, and all you gotta do is press it and it automatically makes the call, because our cell phones do that, in case you didn't know. And
Yeah.
I learned the hard way. I did that when I got my brand new phone, and I'm out in the middle of the golf course, and here comes a squad car and a fire truck in the back. So it was a little strange, but that helps. Our security also, Bulletproof Glass of Chicago is helping us, and I actually had another gentleman here today about as a general contractor to change the lobby around a little bit to enclose it a little bit, make it a little safer, instead of having basically a sneeze guard on one side. They actually have semi bulletproof glass and the drywall underneath. They put a barrier either against it or actually in, and I'm just thinking that actually in our case, if they pop off the countertop, they think they're gonna see two separate pieces of drywall, and they'll be able to drop the steel down into it, which will also be less expensive than having to go on the outside. So we're hoping to have that. I was actually hoping to have it tonight, but it's probably not gonna be till next month. Sorry,
Have it installed tonight?
pardon?
We're hoping to have it tonight.
One of the information, no, not that.
Oh, I
actually.
see.
The exact quotes and stuff like that, but everybody that we're dealing with is either Chicago Bulletproof is the pretty much everybody's choice. They're not in the township, but the general contractors that we're talking to all are either in the township or they have a connection with the township. The last thing, our annual, distribution of food is April 17th from the Northern Illinois Food Bank. We're going to again host it across the street, on April 17th from 4 until 5:30. We need people to come and volunteer. And, I think everybody that kind of froze and got wet last year still had fun. It's supposed to be fun and it's supposed to be rewarding, and there is no cost to us. On this program, Northern Illinois Food Bank provides all the food. Reverend Calvig across the street, he's thrilled to have us back over there. It's nice, we could have it here, but with the overhang over there and the easier in and out of the parking lot, and the fact that he wants to be involved at no, at no cost to us, there's no reason not to have it across the street. That's it for me.
I have one question.
Yep.
What was the name of your first bullet item? What was the meeting that you guys attended, you and Carolyn?
I have the Illinois Association of Township Administrators, IATV.
Next up, Assessor Katzberg.
Well, we have, lots of construction going on. I talked to Amber, she's gotten a lot of new, we call it new work, just, when they subdivide, they create subdivisions, and she gets all the property record cards, and I won't bore you with the details of the process, but, between Rock Estates Phase 2 and 3, Sawgrass Phase 2, Naperville Polo Club, Wild Horse Knoll, makes you laugh. That's Dan O'Donnell's old place, if you guys know who. Oh, he had the restaurant on 119th off of Norman down there.
Oh,
It's right over that way. Ashwood Heights Unit 2, we've got about 1,000 more parcels coming so far. It's just so.
those are new or new?
We've been still ongoing speaking with the county on improving communication. There's been so many changes that I think that's a lot of the issue. We had our WCAA meeting today, and it was decided that just the president of WCAA, Mary Temez, and the secretary, Debbie Ermico. There weren't too many people there. They just were gonna go with the treasurer. I don't know if Ken went, but in any case, they had a meeting with the county. Meadow was there. That there were 3 board members there, and it was difficult.
A lot of questions. WCAA is
Oh, I'm
what?
sorry, the Will County Assessors Association. That's where we disappear for some hours. We go down to, right now it's
And do you want to say what was difficult? Do you want that in here? Do you want?
the discussion for Mary with the county, when they held a meeting, it was very difficult. It was a very, how do I put it?
Do you want
It
to tell
was
me?
very, it was difficult emotionally for her. She was trying to defend our position, and so it didn't exactly go well. We still have issues.
I don't know what our position is.
Yeah, well, the position with WCAA, there's so many changes and such, and had some trouble with Dale. The way things have been going with him since he's become supervisor of assessments. Yeah, I don't like to go into a lot of it, but
I think the long and the short of it, just there's conflict between the
Communication,
county
yes.
assessor's office and the individual
yes,
townships.
yes, thank you. You said it much better,
That's perfect. Thanks.
so, sorry. But, they recently had a.
Gotcha.
Work in progress, I guess.
Okay.
That's about it.
Who's next? Highway Commissioner Weiser?
Key thing, we open up the bids for the road program. And amazingly, the winning bid was $100,000 less than the engineering estimate. Matter of fact, all the bids were very competitive and under the engineering estimates. So we're gonna take that win. So that's when I can strive it. The main, to get the word out, so the main roads we're doing is 119th from Route 30 to the Will County border, 111th from Route 30 to the Will County border, and then a swath of roads in the Tamarack subdivision. We've notified the president of the HOA at Tamarack as for when, that this is coming. Want to make sure that that the people are informed as early as possible, so that if any of you guys hear anything, just have them call me or send me an email if anybody has any questions of that. It's probably going to be done fairly quickly. As soon as the crews are available, probably mid-April. If the pass is prologue, the last 3 years, these guys will start late, mid to late April and be done by first week of May. So looking forward to that. And then the other one too, that soliciting help from all you guys is the Woodmans that's being built at 119th, the north east corner. There's a big farmland right there. That's right now it's public knowledge. It's been posted by the city of Plainfield. Woodman's is coming in there. One of the big questions that a lot of people have is how's that gonna affect traffic? We've had several meetings with the Township, Plainfield, Aurora, IDOT, and the most interesting thing I could say is that the very first person to reach out to me regarding the Women's Project was the traffic engineer that's responsible for the building there. And I think it's telling. And also, I was in a meeting with the village of Plainfield, and the word that they're getting from Woodman's is that they are committed to being involved in the community and working out, the extra traffic that's probably gonna be there. More than likely, there's gonna be some major changes to that intersection. I can't tell you when, but we are moving forward with phase 1 engineering to determine all that stuff. So if you hear of anything, I'd love to get feedback, especially for people that are, right in that section, people that drive that, so I can give them, one-on-one advice or something like that.
You have 100-car backup, you mean?
Yeah.
We saw that today.
Mary and I were just there, and there was, you couldn't see the end of the line from the fifth one.
Yeah, so, but there is, if anything, in the meetings, the meetings I attend, the vast majority of the people, even Naperville, Plainfield, everybody's pretty excited about this development coming, because a lot of people like the stores. It's gonna generate traffic. It's probably gonna be a big win-win for a lot of people, so.
Yeah, who's responsible for the east side of 119th?
East side of 119th.
Yeah, east of 59?
It's east
No,
of
that's
59. That is Plainfield. Yeah. And
Some of it's not Naperville with the Polo Club?
the Polo Club, yes. This is
That whole
actually,
road's broken up, right?
yeah, it's actually, it's Plainfield on the corner, Wheatland Township for about a football field. Polo Ground that used to be all us, but now it's Naperville. And then where the bridge is ours. However, you also have the Will County Forest Reserve that's involved. And then IDOT is responsible for the intersection. So this is a kind of a really, I think it's a really win-win. If Woodman's had not come in, there would have been a little bit of patch quilt of some work done. Now what's happening is that Naperville's taking the lead. They're gonna do a phase 1 engineering project to winnie out, how to make this and expand the road. Ultimately, 119th is what they call a SRA. which is a strategic route,
Mm.
as determined by the Chicago Metropolitan Area Planning Association, which means it's probably gonna be a truck route in the, or a truck route for Plainfield or Naperville, which means that that road's gonna get expanded. By doing the phase one, they can get matching funds from the feds, which will offset and hopefully keep, local taxes down.
Only question for you, 127th, is that not our bridge, or is that our bridge?
That's our bridge. No,
So-
no, 135th, 135th, 119th,
So not 100.
yeah, not 100.
Okay. Just making sure. I saw Plainfield doing work on there today, so I was just.
That's,
Pretty bad potholes in that.
yes. Yeah, we gotta watch that.
All right, any further
Questions
questions?
for Tom? Okay, trustee Jim Hickey.
Just for the last meeting, I did do a budget review. I did a 5-year trend of the financials, put it in a summary form, compared that to the budget, and then listed out all the questions I sent back to Michael, pending his review. And I'm not sure of the internal processes, how you share, whether it goes to you and then you share with the rest of the team, or.
Yeah, I sent my comments back
I
earlier
did see
today.
that, yeah.
And then, I figure you and I can have a follow-up conversation on that piece, and then we'll distribute to everybody else.
Okay.
Discuss before the final approval of the budget.
And, just so everybody knows what's coming, this is the actual, it'll come in a spreadsheet form, but it's basically the consolidated budgets of all of, the funds trended for 5 years, budget comparison, percentage increase, decrease, and then the actual current year budget is broken out by the funds, so that if there's a question as to a large up or a large down, you can identify the fund that's driving that. So that'll be coming when we finish. That's it.
Thank you.
Trustee Kelly Hickey.
I attended the grant writing workshop at Townships of Illinois in Springfield. The presenter said she had a lot of information. She said that she would share the presentation in a digital form with me. So I haven't gotten it yet, but when I do, if anyone wants a copy, I can forward it on. I attended the Accessibility Task Force meeting for Naperville, led by Mary Hamill. I have this all written for you, Anita, too, I'm sorry. We discussed, she wanted me there to hear their concerns about our website with regards to access for disability. And in comparison, she brought up Naperville Parks, which has, I don't know, is it a bot or is it just a button? You press it and there's a drop-down menu that comes up that has, it will adjust the site for color blindness, visually impaired. And I was kind of like, Mary, I don't think we're gonna be doing that really quickly, but I would like to, if we could, look into it and see if there's something that we can do. More for the short term, she was just interested in having something that kind of echoed what the senior services button looks like for us. So I can get together agencies and links if we need to update that, or if we can update that in the interim. The first senior committee meeting will be April 3rd. Here at the township at 10 a.m. I talked to 2 of the 4 people who are on the committee, and they're ready to return. I've left messages for the others. And then I attended the Will County Emergency Management Agency's When Seconds Matter workshop. It was pretty interesting, a lot of information from different agencies about specific crises and how to handle them. One thing that did come out of it was somebody from the Emergency Management Agency pulled me aside and gave a lot of compliments to our road district and to Tom and to how things are handled here. So
Thank you.
good words, and that's it.
Thank you. Will you email me that, Cal?
Mhm.
Okay, trustee Rockus is absent, trustee Jones.
Just one thing I wanna put out there, there's a representative by the name of Manley that is trying to take the road district and abolish it, get rid of it, and bring it to the county. So if you're against that idea or that thought, I suggest you reach out to that representative and let her know your feelings. Bill is HB 5050, I believe.
It's a very good.
Okay, I'm up next, Clerk Liskey. I just wanted to say, let's see, we had 4 FOIAs during the month. 3 are done, 1 is in process, should be finished by this week, early next. And I also wanted to remind all the board members that you need to complete your statement of economic interest, which you should have gotten by May 1st, and checking with Jim. Did you get an email on that? I asked Carolyn, were you able to get him added and sent?
I heard nothing from anybody.
I sent you and Carolyn an email, but I'll follow up tomorrow and we'll figure out how to get that, because it's due May 1st. You weren't here when I submitted the list. You weren't on the board. Okay, tax collector David Scriven Young, please.
We have not had a lot of activity in the past month. We have a cremation burial coming up on Saturday. But other than that, not much going on. I mean, obviously with Jim being out, we're gonna need some additional volunteers, so we maybe put an ad together next to his newsletter or something like that, but that's all I got.
Thanks. Okay, Supervisor Crowner.
Just a reminder that next month is our annual meeting, so that means our meeting will be on a Tuesday in April, not on a Thursday. So just make sure you're keeping that in mind for your calendar. Tuesday, April 9th. So, the annual town meeting starts at, I believe, 7, which is what we approved on the agenda, and then we'll follow that up with our regular meeting at 7:30. That's all I've got. Get a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Abstentions? Nays, sorry, we're good. Meeting adjourned at 8:25 PM.
This goes in the credenza behind.
I'll take it. I gotta go up there anyways. Thanks.
So like,
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I'm not here.